What's a historic internet moment, which younger generations may not know? I used to keep a magazine beside the computer, so I could read something, while waiting for a web page to load. You have to try to put yourself into a mindset of how you would go about finding things on the internet in the days before popular search engines like Google or social media. Discovery of content ended up being due to word of mouth, ISPs and their services, or finding links from other sites you knew about. I remember a lot of fan pages / fan sites for different things would all have sections of affiliate links to other similar fan pages and sites in a mutual effort to help people discover other similar content. I was thinking about it just the other day. It's crazy how centralized the internet has become. How everything now revolves around a handful of sites. Back in the day, going online was basically like going on an adventure. There was no hub. How long it's been since I was recommended a cool website. I remember I had a magazine from like 2000 something where they had a list of the 50 best websites on the web. That whole idea feels so archaic nowadays. Being offline. Now everyone is online all the time. But going online was an actual limited time thing you went and did, and then when you are done you got offline. Now being online is a permanent state of being. Under construction banners, images, and GIFs. They were on every page. The page was always under construction. You'd put one there while you were writing the HTML, then take it out when the final version was done. But way too many people never bothered with that step. Waiting for an hour for an image to download, line by line. Me and my sister downloaded the teaser trailer to Toy Story on our 14.4 kbps modem via Prodigy. I remember we had it going all day long and yelled at my parents not to pick up the phone. When it finished we watched it on Real Player and it was like 12 seconds long and blurry AF, but it was so glorious. I remember one of my friends asking me, "Have you heard of YouTube?" And I said no. You rarely saw username already taken. I vividly remember being in a work cafeteria in 2000 and realizing just how widespread internet usage was becoming by overhearing a coworker on the phone to Rogers trying to select an ML username. Everything was taken. She'd started with her initial and last name, then full name, then period between, then adding a birth year, and about 10 minutes later she settled on the most ridiculous Frau name, just because it seemed to be the only one available. I wonder how many people are still using their first handles just out of habit. Chat rooms. Nowadays, everyone just chats through messengers and social media. But back then, we had to join a website to connect with people online and only could do so a few hours a day as there weren't any flat rates yet. That file's 1 meg. Guess I'll go to bed now and check it out in the morning and say a prayer the connection didn't glitch out sometime in between. I always thought the biggest thing a younger person would notice is how hard it was to access, period. Not the difficulty signing on, but finding a place to get on. We can just get on our cell phone and look up game cheat codes or item locations. I remember going to a friend's house with a notebook and writing down stuff for FF7, or going to Cheat Code Central. Fast forward to like 2007. And I was still going to a friend's house and printing off Vice City codes and item locations. Dedicated internet forums for specific things instead of a subreddit. They were like mini communities, and if you spent enough time on them, you went there for the community rather than the actual subject matter. I know forums sort of still exist, but they are nowhere near what they were. I spent / wasted some great times on forums for niche games, and I didn't even game much. In the very old days, to send ML you had to explicitly list out all the computers the mail would have to be routed through to get to the destination. Thank you Eric Allman for SendMail. Before it was all corporate, so many homemade pages for any interest you could think of. I don't mean MySpace or Tumblr either. Crappy HTML, blinking graphics, instrumental music in the background. I met one of my oldest online friends in 1997 through a site he made for our favorite band. We were ML pen pals 4 years before social media was a thing. Not gonna lie, if you kids saw what we could do to our MySpace pages back in the day, you'd flip your custom backgrounds, musical playlists right there on our page. And don't forget the feature that no other social media has dared to attempt due to the absolute wars this started. The top 8. Those of you who were there with me in the early aughts You know exactly the kind of drama I'm talking about. The pop-ups. Oh my god. The pop-ups. You'd open a web page and 20 windows would open and most of them were inappropriate ads. It took a while for pop-up blockers to become a thing. Now you can't even advertise with pop-ups because all browsers block them by default. I still occasionally refer to my ad blocker as my pop-up blocker. Forums. People on Reddit right now seem to think they are being persecuted if they get warned or banned from a subreddit. Back in the day, you had individual forums, and if you wanted to stay there, you did what the owner's rules said, because nobody gave a if you thought you were unfairly banned, and it was difficult to find alternative forums, so you had to deal with it. The early internet was very slow. Even text-only websites would take time to load. You had to use the home phone line to be online, using a dial-up modem, which meant you could talk on the phone, or be on the internet, but not both. If you were a fancy rich person, maybe you had a second phone line just for the internet, but that was rare. And this was way before cell phones, when landline phones were much more important. My friend had a Prodigy account, which predates even AOL. The first time I ever used the internet, probably around 1990. We were on a Prodigy forum and my friend posted something with F or sure the like. About a week later his dad got a letter in the mail, as in a paper letter through the post office from Prodigy, stating that the language he used in the chat was inappropriate, and please refrain from using bad words. It was a different age. That modern social media isn't the internet. Forums and message boards were more popular, and had a culture where, if you were a kid especially, you would not reveal any personal information about yourself, and remain a screen name. And it was great. It was liberating. It made you feel good about yourself to be able to interact with people with shared interests. It pisses me off that the current panic over social media and pending government regulation. In Texas there is a proposed bill to even ban minors from it entirely. Lumps in all forms of user-generated content. Criticisms specific to social media concepts like Instagram do not apply to all modes of internet communication. That's common sense, but for some reason a lot of people don't understand this. Back during the day, it was taboo to show your real face on your website. This was a time where many kids weren't smart when it comes to online safety. To be fair, this is still an issue today. Back during the day many online safety tips included to never tell someone the state you live in, real name, school, or show your real photo. In my opinion, I think more people should follow those old tips. It looks like that's all out the window now. Look at the YouTubers, TikTokers, Facebook and Instagrammers. Most of them show their real face and some use their real names. I know some people do complain that in real life some of these people get stalked or harassed. It's either mild or severe. It's crazy how times changed. In my opinion, if getting clout or being famous means being harassed, it's not worth showing your face for fame. I remember an web turnpike. Also I remember there were so many character shrine websites dedicated to one's favorite anime character. I remember goose books on websites where people either leave nice comments or flame the goose book. Flaming means leaving rude insulting comments. Flaming was one of the first forms of cyberbullying. MIDI music still is awesome. If you cannot listen to MP3 file of Bananarama, then you listen to a MIDI version of the song and sing along, if you want. Now since many music artists use YouTube, MIDIs are not as popular. Internet shortchanged and evolved now. I think it's gotten better, but I reminiscence about its earlier years. Point good times.